Hello everyone, VegasVic1965, and as you see behind me, it is a villager or a pillager raid tower. In this week's video, I'm going to try to show you the A to Z on the best way to use this raid tower for emeralds, for totems of undying, and a host of other drops that these guys provide. So without further ado, let's find out. Welcome back everyone, VegasVic1965, and we're back at that pillager tower, and this week I'm going to try and give you the A to Z as best I can on how to make best use of this pillager tower for your pillager raid farm that we're going to build relatively close. Now what we're going to use this farm for is to farm these guys right here with the raid banner. By killing one of these guys around one of these raid pillager towers, you will achieve Bad Omen level 1. And you can only get Bad Omen level 1 by killing one of these. Now, if you happen to run into a raid party, a random group of pillagers out in the world, that raid captain has a chance of getting you from Bad Omen levels anywhere from 1 to 5. But again, by using this, you can only get Bad Omen 1. Now, by killing a second one around this tower, you'll achieve Bad Omen 2. But to get the max, which is Bad Omen 6, you will need to kill 6 of these guys. Now, you can use a bow, which I suggest since there's no longer the enchanting kind of fix or bug or glitch that we had, or exploit that we had in 1.14.2, because we are now on live on 1.14.4. We're back to where you can only pick one protective enchant. So I know on my hardcore server, we were at 1.14.2, and we were successfully able to attach a number of different protective enchants. Projectile protection, blast protection, and protection 4. Those were our go-to for these guys, especially when you get around a group of them. Anyway, how to make use of this. Let me explain. This raid tower, these guys will spawn anywhere from about 20 blocks below if there are caves, all the way up to 54 blocks above if there's some surface area for them to be able to spawn on. Unlike the random ones, random raid pillagers, they'll spawn out on the outskirts anywhere, or one that you create by entering a village. The ones that you create by bringing Bad Omen to a village will always spawn on the surface. Whether your raid farm is underground or above ground, they will always spawn on the surface, and we can make really good use of that. So let me change the time on this real quick. So how do we make use of this? Well, first of all, this is not exactly the greatest of areas. There is more than likely lots of caves in there where some are spawning. The most ideal is as flat a surface as you possibly can make. Lighting up the caves, those guys will still spawn, even though now the random raid parties are required to follow the normal mob aggressive mob spawning rules, and that's they can no longer spawn on slabs, no longer spawn on glass, and so we're kind of stuck with making this the best we possibly can by flattening out as much of it as you can around there. So you'll see that a little later on one that we did on our hardcore server that I'll show you live. Now, to make use of this, again, like I said, you want to have access to probably a plains area, because your raid farm that you're going to build, you're going to want to have that as little obstacles as possible for these pillager raiders when they're coming in to confront. You don't want them confronting a ravine where they end up dropping into the ravine and then they can't get back out. So with this one here, I'd probably flatten a lot of it. I'd make myself a little path to get back and forth. And we just happen to have a plains biome just over to the north. Now, a lot of the raids will happen at a certain distance. So when you go into your little village the artificial village that you made up, which can consist of one bed and one villager, whether you've got it in the air, below ground, or right on the ground. Now, your render distance is going to determine how far away these, according to the wiki, how far away these guys are actually going to spawn and then work their way towards your little raid farm. So myself, I keep this render distance on 6. Works great for going in and out of the nether as well. But keeping it on 6, you can limit the distance that these guys are coming from. And again, I may have mentioned it already, but they can spawn anywhere, according to the wiki, anywhere from 0 blocks to 1,024 blocks away once you start your raid. And again, always they will spawn on the surface. And then you need to look around where your raid farm is at to determine what obstacles these guys will face trying to get to your raid farm that you're going to build. Like right here, these guys come over the hill and they happen to drop down in there. They may have a hard time getting out, may or may not. But you want to try and limit the amount of obstacles that you have around there to help these guys get to your raid farm, which I will show a little tutorial a little later as well. And it's very simple. It's basically a water stream similar to a lot of the iron golem farms that I've done in the past. And once they enter that water stream, they go straight towards the middle. And I have a couple of shout outs also, a little help that I saw from a couple other designs that I made use of in here. So on something like this, I wouldn't worry about this so much, but what I would worry about is that water air hole back over there. These trees could play an integral part in getting these guys stuck. And you don't want that, because you're going to be sitting either underground or above ground waiting for these guys, and you won't be able to see them. Now, I built a little mini raid tower, or just a viewing tower that I have on my hardcore server that I'll show you. So what we did was we flattened out the area, or I would flatten out this area if you're going to build it here. Find a spot here somewhere in the center, and we will go over that in just a little bit. But what I'm going to show you now is my plan in action. So you notice the pillager tower is just a little over in the distance to the south, and we're going to set this up right here. So, okay, now for the building part of this tutorial. It should be relatively quick and simple. Once you've located your pillager outpost, try to find yourself a nice flat open area like a plains area like this is. Just to the south over that hill is where the pillager raid tower is. So find yourself a flat surface. Now you want to look at the outlying areas. You'll see the hills behind me present no problem to these guys. Again, they will spawn only on the surface. So we're going to be digging our little mini villager town village underneath, and they will be, of course, spawning on the surface, and they'll make their way towards this water stream area that we're making here, which is 5 by 5. And 5 by 5 on the inside and 5 by 5 on this second tier up here. So let's take a look at what we've got so far. If I can figure it out, right? In the center we have a 3 by 3 hole. Now you're going to dig that 3 by 3 hole down 20 blocks. Now again, this is a 5 by 5, so we got 5 from here. You want to dig out 5, and then this layer here, dig out 5. That'll give it enough space for even the witches that actually wander in here to help this raid party. They will also find themselves trapped into this water stream, which leads right below. Okay, so if we drop down below, you'll see this 3 by 3. This is block 20 right here below, and that is where we're going to be having our hoppers. So let me set this up for you, and be right back. Okay, what I've done is just remove the block 20 that was here, and that's even with that chest. Now I'm going to run some hoppers through here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. That's part of our 3 by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then these over here, you can run these hoppers into the other ones. No big deal. So we'll do that right now. 1, 2, 3. That's going to be your platform. And then I'm going to grab my slabs. We can probably get that done right now. And we'll get up in there. And we'll set our slabs down on top of there. That's going to be your kill chamber. So it's basically 19.5 blocks that they drop. But more than likely you'll have probably a sharpness 5 sword on you with looting 3, because you want to get it to maximize the amount of drops that you get. So the next step is going to be to pretty this up, and maybe if you want to add another chest, you can do that. As a matter of fact, we could do that right over here. We could set up a couple more chests here. Maybe another one here, like I have. And then you just run your hoppers right into these guys, just like that. If you wanted to, you don't have to. You can go with just the one chest if you want to. And of course, that'll just end up filling down at the bottom. So once you've got that done, the next step we're going to be doing, and I'll clear it out, is going to be above us. We're going to put in the pistons, which will probably save your life, and also the boats that'll be just above that. That'll also probably save your life in case you get a couple swings in on an evoker and he gets a few casts in. So just a moment, I'll be right back. We'll get started on that. Okay, I guess I should have showed you this first before we got started. To show you how to get your pistons in there, this is the wall we had before. You knock out these blocks and you want to put your pistons in there like this, facing forward, 3 in the back, because this is going to be your kill area right here. There, this is going to push them forward 1, so you're going to need 2 more pistons over here as well. And on this side. And then we might as well go ahead and get the redstone part of this done. Right back here is where we're going to put our redstone components. Give me just a moment to set that up and it'll be a lot easier and a lot quicker. Okay, what I've done is I've cleaned this up just above and then back behind these pistons over here. This of course is our kill chamber here that they'll drop down to. We have our 2 pistons here, and our lever is going to go right out here on the outside of that block right there. So if I were to go down here, we could actually set that lever up, but we will in just a moment. But back here, our redstone signal is not going to be long enough, so we are going to need a repeater. And I find that putting a repeater probably right about there is more than well enough. So a couple redstone dust behind those 2 pistons. Then we'll bring that redstone line all the way back around here, all the way down to the end, and then we'll go back outside here and we'll set up our lever right on this block right here, if I can get to it. So hitting the switch, all of them push in, and if you take a look, you'll see our 3x3 kill area, especially for the evokers. This is what it's mainly for. It pushes them into a little 1x2. I know I'd mentioned a couple of times during the other videos it was a 2x2, but it's just a 1x2, making it a lot easier for you to get in and kill those evokers before they get any casts off. So there's a number of safety precautions that I have put in here. The next one will be the boats that we're going to set up, and I will set that up for you and we'll be right back. Okay, now depending, if you take a look through here, you'll see in just a moment, there's our kill chamber in there. And I've basically gone all around it. Down under here is our redstone wiring. So I basically opened up a, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it really depends on how large of an area that you're going to be roaming around in there, or running away from vexes, if you get any, which hopefully you won't. And because these boats and a few other precautions, including the golems, should take care of it. But the boats up top above your little area, it really depends on how much area you have. For example, this one here, there's not a whole lot of area for them to go to move around in there. I could make it a little bit bigger, but for all intents and purposes, this is basically what you're going to do. You're going to set your boats down, and then you want to make sure that you put a, if I can get to the wall, there it is, put yourself a line of blocks across those boats like that. Just like that. We're going to do the same thing all the way around. Be right back. Okay, now I've went ahead and put a couple rows of boats all the way around, and again, this is just above our little platform that we'll be doing our killing at. And just again, as a precaution, if vexes do get cast by these evokers, because you know that they will swarm in and around, and as soon as they go up, well, this is going to be a surprise for them. Now, vexes, if you don't know, they have a time limit. They don't just last forever. So if they get damaged in the boat because there's a block above or not, they will be stuck in those boats and they will expire anyway, so you don't even have to worry about them. That takes them completely out of the picture. So having finished this up, almost done. Maybe another boat right here. I don't know if we can fit one there. Yeah, we did. And I had holes in mine just so people could see that there actually were boats. But you don't have to if you don't want to. And I only put torches in there just in case the boats were knocked while placing, that there happens to be a space where another mob could spawn. At least I've increased the light level so there wouldn't be any others. So that should pretty much take that. We'll go back down, close that off. That area is done. That's one precaution taken care of. Now the next step is going to be to pretty much close this up and get a couple things going here with their iron trap doors. Make sure I get it lined up right. Still have that. Now for our kill chamber, make sure I get down on this correctly. You want to use an iron trapdoor. You don't want to use wooden ones like I did when I first did this, because if you happen to be trying to hit them with a bow, that's not going to work. By trying to hit them with a bow, those trapdoors are going to open, and it's going to be quite confusing to try and hit them right. So now that we've got that done, we are pretty close to getting done. You can see this will be your kill area. All you need to do is create your little platform here, and then this part, the kill part, chamber part, is pretty much done. And if you wanted to, really, I think what I did too, I went ahead and put glass blocks here so I could see what was going on inside. That'll give you an idea who's coming for dinner, so to speak. All right, so your next step would be where you want your village. Now you can put like a little area down underneath here, and I'll set one up so you can get an idea, but it needs to be directly underneath this platform. Preferably a few blocks underneath here is where you want to put your bell. Then throw your villager in there, then throw your bed. And I say throw the bell first for the villager because that's going to be the initial POI or point of interest that will establish that as a village. And then by placing that bed, you'll also have a workstation. So you'll have the workstation, you'll have the bed, and you'll have the bell. All 3 points of interest right there underneath this center one, making that the center of the village. This will work also for bedrock. Of course, they need to be centered. And I know how funky it can really be when you've got you've placed a bell here, there's a bed over there, and then you don't know whether the villagers of or the game is considered this to be the village or this to be the major point of interest to be the village. This will all be right underneath each other. So that point of interest, regardless of what version you're playing on, will be right there under that third or that center hopper. So I'll be right back when I have a little mini village set up. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, I dug just a little ways down here. You can see right underneath here, we've set up our platform. There's our kill chamber. We'll go ahead and arrange a little platform here for us to kill them at. But just below this center one, we have our bell just below down there. And we have set up a way to get in and out. Now this part is optional with the chest. The reason I did this is if I happen to be standing here and I'm not paying attention and they throw something at me, it'll go right into this chest. It's basically 6 hoppers, 9 hoppers. They're all pointed into just this chest right over here. You don't have to have that. I thought I'd decorate up just slightly. I put a wooden floor down for them, and we'll put a trapdoor right underneath here. Now the trapdoor will keep these villagers, 1, 2, 3, and they should pick up on these workstations depending on the time of day. There they go, and they happen to be my favorite, the masons. So after a raid, coming in here and standing here, they will throw clay blocks at me. Alright, so they have 3, we have, really only need 1 bed. I put 3 beds just because I want to make it look nice, and if I was to actually use this, I would go ahead and decorate this a lot more, as you have seen from the actual one that we use. So I placed this bell low enough to where when these guys come around it and there is a raid coming in, they can reach it to ring the bell. If you open that door, they cannot get out. As you saw earlier, now I just got to get him out of the way so I can get out. Easier said than done, right? There we go. That keeps them from getting out, but you can crouch, they cannot. Anyway, we'll go ahead and build the platform next, and then of course we'll go up top. Be right back. Okay, I've set up a kind of a kill platform right here. You can set up however you see fit as far as the level goes. An area down to the villagers. I've also even dug ourselves a way out and put our stairs up. Now you can use trapdoors to cover this hole if you like, but me personally, I like to be able to come up here and see what's going on with the raid over there in case something, for example, a Ravager is stuck, or I want to see I've got 2 left, where are they? They won't see you through this glass, but you'll see them if they're roaming around, and they do roam around, but eventually they will work their way into the water streams. So the next step and final step is going to be to go ahead and put together our water streams with our lava in the center to take care of the Ravagers. Let me set up the time. Okay, we're back at where the drop would be. Now I've already built this, and what I'm going to do over here is show you how I built it over here. Looking at it just like it is over there, I've set down 3 fence gates here, 1 in the middle, 3 over there. I came around and put 2 on the sides. Now what you're going to do, is you're going to open up all these fence gates. A little bit of lag. You're going to open all the fence gates except the one in the middle. Now the first things first, we want to put a sign, 1 sign only, on that center one, just like that. And on the others, we're going to put 2 signs on top of each other, stacked. Even the ones here on the side. What we're doing is we're getting a little holding area for the lava that we're going to be putting in there in a moment. Now you want to get yourself up and stick your lava inside. You want to drop your lava. Well, let me see if I can get a little closer. You want to make sure you get this right. Drop your lava right on top of that center sign that's over top of the fence gate that is not open. And there you have it. That's all set. Well, I'm really getting some lag here. Okay, so you can see that's now in action. I did use temporary blocks like I said, so you're going to want to be careful when you remove those. Now when it comes to the water streams, I placed 6 blocks in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can still see the outline. They were only temporary because you're going to lay out your water streams all across here. Do the same in all 4 corners with the 6 blocks. And then once you place your last water bucket up there, you can remove those blocks, and that will finish this off. So that finishes up the tutorial, the quick tutorial, I hope it was quick, to build the pillager farming area. Now from here, we'll go ahead and see this in action. And I'm going to take you on to my hardcore server at AddStar, and we'll run a couple different raids. I'll speed through one. One of them will have Bad Omen 1. And the other one will have Bad Omen 6. Now how you get those is by killing pillager captains, the ones carrying the banners. Now I may have mentioned earlier that randomly throughout here you'll find random villagers running around. That pillager captain can give you a Bad Omen of between 1 and 5. But if you're at an outpost, that pillager captain, and they will always only give you 1. So let's go take a look at those 2 videos. Stick around. Hello everyone, Vegas Vic 1965 back again. We are taking a look at inside of our little raid farm that I built here. I have CeNeddie with me and my son Noah. I'm going to actually do a little cut here and run out and pick up Bad Omen 1. Now what I have in front of me is how many items you can get from Bad Omen 1, and then how many items you get Bad Omen 6, and I'm sure you can use your imagination to decide, you know, the differences on what would be in between. Real quickly, I have set up my villager pod down here. I've expanded it just a little bit. Now, you only need that one bed, the one bell, and just the workstation. I set up some hoppers here, so when I go inside and I have a trapdoor here so they can't get in, I can open this, they can't get out, and I can stand here and let them throw their gifts at me. I've set up a number of mason stands. I was going to do just only masons for the clay blocks. I think that's probably one of the most the best gifts that you can get from these guys in the first place. But anyway, I'm going to run on out to the raid area that we had, if I can get by this guy. He's fighting me to get out the door, which he can't. Anyway, I'm going to run out there and pick up Bad Omen 1, come back in, and we're going to watch Noah and CeNeddie take on this raid party that's going to be flying in. And I'll be running up into a little raid tower that I have that you can view this whole thing, and you can actually see it in action and where they're coming from. So, give me just a moment and I'll be right back. Okay, we're out at the raid tower that we kind of fixed up. There was a few of us that actually worked on this. Joodicate was one of the people who helped me really level this out to make it look really nice. I'm going to go up to the top of this little mini tower. This is usually where I sit to wait for them to respawn, and you'll get a better bird's eye view of what's going on up here. And here they're coming after me. But as you can see here, we've pretty much flattened out everything we could in proximity to this existing pillager tower. Now, what I'm looking for, of course, is the pillager carrying the banner. None of the other ones really matter to me right now. So, as you can see, and then behind us, I've got my pathway that you will see when I'm getting ready to make my exit on my way out of here. So, let me go ahead and get Bad Omen 1 to do our first test, and I shall be right back. Okay, we have one. I saw him in a distance. There we go. Boom, as you can see at the top right, I now have Bad Omen and a few extra friends. Ooh. Gotta kill him for me. Yeah. Alright, it's time to leave. Alright, so I'll make my way back to the raid farm. Give me just a moment. We'll hop on the horse. You've seen what I've done here. I've flattened it out like I said I did. Like I mentioned in the earlier when I had a single player world up where we just had a raid tower and luckily a plains biome next to it, so it wouldn't be too difficult to make sure that the raid farm the raiders wouldn't have a difficult time of getting to it. This one here we just basically clear out so you can see better. Okay, so from our the little area that I found plains biome wasn't too far away, so I kind of cleared out a path so anybody else who needed it could follow this to get to it a lot easier. Alright, before I go down below and start it, you can see I have like a viewing tower up top, which I'll go up once the raid starts. CeNeddie and my son Noah will go ahead and start whacking away. Something I do want to mention that's just extremely important. Earlier versions of 1.14, that's 1.14 to all the way I believe until 1.14.3, you could be there in the area of the raiding party and be able to get the Hero of the Village effect. But now, as of 1.14.4, you actually have to kill at least one pillager to be able to get that effect when the raid is over. You can see, as you can see, the raid bar up top is starting to fill, and if we look down below, you'll see the pillagers are going nuts, sweat particles going off, they're running around ringing and ringing and ringing. Now in this room there's CeNeddie. I'll probably hit one so I can at least get there they are. Say hi, Noah.
Hi.
Hopefully you can hear him. You ready, Noah?
Uh-huh.
Now what are you going to do with that switch? When are you going to use it?
When the evokers come.
Right, when the evokers come. I created a little area here where when you hit this button, it'll push them from the back to the front, and the sides will push them in. So they just have a 2x2 area, because the evokers in a 9x9 area can really move around. So it makes it difficult to see what's happening, or to actually swing at them. Above here, I want to mention that you can see through these holes I have boats, and you're probably wondering, well, why does he have boats? Well, those boats are there just in case an evoker does get off a spell for vexes. Now, the vexes will fly all over the place, but as soon as they go up, they're going to meet a hasty end with a boat and a block above it. So there are just rows and rows of boats, just one level of boats there. I also have cobwebs, which I think I found out are non-effective anyway. But if all else fails, I can run right over to these two guys and just stand here, and they will waste those vexes. You want to make sure that if you have iron golems and are doing the same thing, don't swing. You definitely do not want to swing around these guys. Here in hardcore, that pretty much ends everything that you've built. If you're playing on survival server, then you'll end up having to run back and get all your stuff again. And hopefully the anger that they had for you is gone. So the villagers are running around. They just got Noah and CeNeddie just finished the first wave. Now we're only going to have 5 waves. No, excuse me, 7 waves. And I'll explain that. If you're playing on easy mode, you're only going to have 3 waves for Bad Omen 1. Now this is not any other increases in Bad Omen. If you have Bad Omen 2, 3, or 4, it'll increase your waves by 1. So if you're on easy and the waves are coming in, you only get 3 waves. But if you have Bad Omen 2, 3, up to 6, then you will get 1 additional wave, making it 4. If you are playing on normal, then you will get 5 waves, and if you have more than Bad Omen 1, you will get 1 additional wave for 6 waves. I just wanted to make sure I got a kill so I could get credit. And if you're playing on hard like we are, then it comes in 7 waves. And you'll have an extra wave if you have Bad Omen 2 up to Bad Omen 6. Right now these guys are pretty easy. Even though I have this little small space, if you start swinging, the evokers, when they arrive, if you don't kill them right away, they will start to cast spells. And the longer they're there, the more they cast. Now at first I had wooden trapdoors here, and I had some people that were using their bow and arrow, and it would actually open up the trapdoor. So I decided to go ahead and change it out for iron trapdoors. So if anybody wants to hit them from a distance, no problems any longer. This is seated on like I said, a 3x3 from above. So I have 9 hoppers, all pointing into 3 chests. You don't have to go with 3 chests if you want. You can go with just 1. I put 3 just in case we get multiple raiders coming in here and we leave some stuff behind. Looks like our next raid is coming. And I am actually going to run up to the observation chamber so we can see one of these waves where they're coming in. Up we go. From here you get a bird's eye view of see what's going on down there. And I left this block open, so if there were some Ravengers, like let's say for example 2 or 3 that arrived exactly at the same time and got stuck, you could hit them from here. At this point, if you're up here, you can see which direction they're coming from. As you see at the top of the raid bar, there are 2 left. 1 is wandering around, but he will find his way into that water stream. And there he goes. Once he goes in there, he's gone. He's done. I'm also going to run out there and show you that these raiders here, not the ones from the random pillagers that are running around out there, not the ones from the tower, but only the ones as a result of a raid that you started, will work their way towards the center of the village. So if you're out here somewhere, they'll run right by you or right through you without even hitting you. I know, it's surprising. So we have 1 raider left, and I didn't get up early enough to see which direction they came from. If this is wave 3, my guess it's probably a witch running around somewhere. It is. It was a beast. That's what we were looking. And the beast is working his way into the water stream now. And there's no way out for it. Now these guys, you definitely want to have something set up like this, like a little lava here. And the reason I mention that is even though I have a 3x3 and he would definitely fit, he would fit in a 2x2. But the problem is when you get him down below and you start swinging at him, he'll run right into the edge and knock you back and you'll take a lot of damage. So you do not want him coming down in there. Your best bet is just to let them burn up top. Now the rate bar will drop and you'll know when you have about 2 left because it'll say 2 left. 2. Looks like there's a witch down below, or there's this witch and one more following. Or it could be a vindicator, it could be a pillager, but they're out in that direction running around. Now the witches on the Java side will actually help the pillagers. They will toss healing potions, they will toss potions of harming on us, but on the bedrock side they will not heal their pillager party. They will harm you as a player, but for some reason the code is not written in to where they actually heal the raiding party. So when we on the Java side get a couple of evokers down there and like 3 witches like I had about a week or so ago when Joodicate, who would help me put a lot of this together, they all dropped down together and poor Joodicate got wasted. Vexes started coming out. She couldn't kill them quick enough, and they ended up killing her off because the 3 witches were healing the 2 evokers. So you don't want that to happen. And that led to me creating a better kill chamber with those pistons that you saw down there. Just a flip of that switch, and it pushes them all into a little 2x2. What direction is that? South. I see CeNeddie down below. I wonder if she knows which is east, west, and south. And we're still waiting. Looks like that last one is dying. Oh, looks like CeNeddie found him. And there it goes. Okay, so our next raid is going to start. We'll see where they come from. There they come. They're coming from this direction. We have 1 Ravager. I see a couple of Vindicators. 3 Vindicators and Pillagers. And I wonder, there's no Evokers yet in this raid party. But they're really not... Oh, this must be wave 5, because that's when they actually start on hard now. So we have 1 evoker coming down. Alright, so you can see this little viewing tower really helps to figure out where they're coming from. I see there's another one in distance. 1 more coming, he's almost there. We'll go back down, get us a couple more hits, and the next one I'm going to do will be a Bad Omen 6, which sometimes can take a little bit. But if I get lucky to find a random pillager party out and about, perhaps I can get lucky and get more than just 1 Bad Omen from them. As I said earlier, from the Pillager outpost, you can only get Bad Omen 1 each time you kill one, as opposed to a random Pillager party that's out and about. You have a chance of getting anywhere from Bad Omen 1 through Bad Omen 5. This should be wave 6 if I'm not mistaken. And then, so this should be the second to last. Since we're on hard, we only have 7 waves. The next one will have 8, as I mentioned earlier. When you have more than Bad Omen 1, Bad Omen 2 through Bad Omen 6, you'll get 1 additional wave. If anybody is old enough to remember Rock'em Sock'em Robots, boy, doesn't this look like that? Looks like they're ready to duke it out. I think Toy Story 3 had Rock'em Sock'em Robots in it. That was some nostalgia coming back from the 70s. Whoop, I heard an evoker. He was actually trying to cast a spell there. Somebody swung and missed. We should probably get more than 1 evoker. I've seen up to 3 drop down into here. But if these guys can remember to hit that switch, it'll force them into just a 1x2. See, without those, trying to swing at these guys, sometimes they run around so quickly you miss them with your sword. So it's always good to have that switch right there. Push him right into here. He can't go nowhere. He's dead. This should be the last and final wave, Noah. What do you think? Has this been easy?
Yeah.
No damage, nothing, huh? Nice and easy.
Yep.
What do you think? Do you like it?
Yep.
What do you think could be done to make it better? Do you see anything? No? It's okay. If you think it's good enough, that's good enough for me.
Oh, I don't really think that there's an upgrade. This is good enough.
Yeah, I think you're right. We got it pretty much covered. Now you see here we got 26 so far. One more raid coming. Maybe we'll get into the 40s for the emeralds. We've gotten two evokers so far, and I'm going to take all this stuff here and put it in our chest, and we'll compare that a little bit later with Bad Omen 6. And there's CeNeddie flipping through and seeing what she's going to use. My son's using his shield right now. For what reason, I'm not sure. And there goes one evoker right there. Somebody flipped the switch. Boom, nice and easy. That was another evoker. Flip the switch, nice and easy. Good teamwork, guys. That was a very good example of what to do with those evokers. Whoop. Remember, no, you got to wait till you got to hit that switch yourself, you know.
I flicked it once.
Mm-hmm. But the evoker dropped down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should still be safe. We got all the boats. We got the golems. We're pretty much covered, I think. Oh, that's right. I was going to ask CeNeddie if she killed any of these guys, because again, I mentioned earlier, the three of us are here, and if one of us just hangs around and doesn't kill any of the pillagers, you're not going to get the hero of the village effect. You have to at least kill something in the raid party.
She did kill some of them.
Yeah, and she also killed some up top too, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She will get the hero of the village, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's great for discounts in case no one knows what the hero of the village, and that's something I should have mentioned earlier. If you don't know what the hero of the village effect is, it's where once you get the hero of the village effect, you can run in with your villagers, like I would down here, and after about a minute or so, they start throwing things at you. Now, the items they throw at you depend on their profession. For me, I think probably the best ones are going to be your butchers for food if you want. But I really like the clay blocks, the new class that we have, the masons will throw at you. And so I have another village that's not too far from here called Peaceful Point. And I've got a number of masons set up out there. And usually if you get Hero of the Village effect, it'll last for enough time. I believe originally it was supposed to be like for 16 minutes. But I believe the higher the level, the longer it is. Don't quote me on it. But just by standing around those guys, eventually they start throwing things at you. And it's not just that one time. If you hang around long enough, they'll start throwing things at you again. The Fletchers, I know somebody's going to mention that. They do throw those specialty arrows at you too. But it's also random. And sometimes you can get a regular arrow. There are a number of different videos out there that you can find on who drops what. But to me, I think the most important ones would be the masons dropping the clay blocks, the butchers giving you food, the Fletchers giving you arrows. I mean, yes, shepherds are going to give you wool. Farmers are going to give you like bread. If it's a baby, if it's a nitwit, they're gonna toss. If it's a baby, they're gonna toss you the little poppies. If it's an unemployed, they're gonna toss you the seeds. There's a few other classes out there that throw you some minor things. I know all the weaponsmiths and the toolsmiths, they're going to throw you some stone tools, maybe an iron tool, and not really worth keeping them around to do something like this. Now, if you notice up at the top right corner, we have Hero of the Village effect. And here it is here. Now over to the right of that is going to show what level that you received that on. Right now we only had Bad Omen 1, so we got Hero of the Village 1, which will last, I believe, for 16 minutes. Now if you log out of the game and then come back later, it will refresh that time. But if you sit in the game and then come back to it, it'll eventually expire. I see CeNeddie over here. I'm gonna let these guys know that I'll come back once again when I get Bad Omen 6, and we'll compare the differences in the loot as far as what you get. Now the amount of pillagers are obviously going to be a little bit better, and that final wave that we just got is supposed to be the hardest wave. So if you happen to get additional Bad Omen, then that extra wave you get on the end will be just equally as difficult as the final wave, depending on your difficult level. So if you're playing on easy, that fourth level will be the same as the fourth wave will be the same as the third wave. If you're playing on hard, the sixth wave will be the same as the fifth wave. If you're playing on normal, the sixth wave will be the same as the fifth wave, and if you're playing on hard, the eighth wave will be the same difficulty as the seventh. So anyway, let me take a time out here. I'll move some things around. We'll get Bad Omen 6 and we'll compare these. Okay, we're back, and now as you can see, whoops, not yet. Can't see that way when you're on a horse. But as you can see, I now have Bad Omen 6. We're going to head back where CeNeddie and Noah, my son, are waiting. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I dropped my horse off, and we're going to go ahead and get this started. A little laggy. And there they are waiting. You can look down and you see the villagers are running around, ringing the bell. And the sweat particles are starting. And I'm going to run upstairs real quick. We'll see. Actually, no, I'm going to do a few cutscenes. I'll probably speed through this because you've probably seen enough through the other one. But we'll take whatever happens here out of this chest from these 8 waves, and I'll stick them in there and we'll compare the two. Just to see. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot more emeralds. Probably a lot more stuff. We'll see. I'm going to get one kill in, then I'll run up top. We'll take a look at one of the raid parties coming in, and then I'll speed through it. Still got a couple raid members going there, and it should restart as soon as they kill this one. I'll be right back. Okay, next raid bar is filling up. Let's see where they come through. Found them.
I know where we can go, where the sunrise lasts forever, and it's all you and me. We'll kiss the sky goodnight. Come get lost with me. 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 Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again.
Okay, well, welcome back. I see that Enderman had stolen my grass block. Can't have that. As you saw, we did get the hero of the village effect. Let me run down here. Everybody else should have gotten it too. The villagers should be all relaxed now. We did good, guys. Now, for some reason, it's only showing Hero of the Village 5. That's probably just a misprint, I'm guessing. Emeralds. That's kind of a low emerald count, in my opinion. But I'm going to take this and put all this, and we'll take a look and see what happened with the difference between the two. Be right back. Okay, if you take a look now, we have the results. Bad Omen 1 looks like we have 5 totems of Undying. We've got 32 emeralds, a host of miscellaneous stuff, 1 saddle, which is kind of unusual. Usually we get more, and about 6 ominous banners. Looking at Bad Omen 6, we had 5 totems over there. This one has 8 totems. Another host of miscellaneous stuff, 3 saddles, 55, not quite twice as much, and it does take a little bit more work to get to Bad Omen 6. So you could probably pump these out faster with Bad Omen 1 if you really wanted to, and it's not that close. But if they're there, why not add a few extra Bad Omen to you? Going all the way to 6 unless it's easy. Again, there's a small difference here because my son was using his axe to kill these. So there was no looting 3 on that axe. So that may have something to do with this. Because usually we get, I would say, somewhere around the numbers of 80 emeralds, something like that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I see my son is taken off. He was just here a minute ago. He's sleeping back there. It's nighttime on hardcore. Hardcore is quite the challenge. If you haven't played hardcore, then you haven't got your heart racing yet, because it's one chance, one life, and this is hard mode. So if you die, everything you've built, everything you've done, all of your stuff, it's all gone. It is quite the challenge, but it is worth it. So until the next video next week, if you want to subscribe, click the subscribe button. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please click the like button. So again, until next week, for our next video, again, I put my videos out every Wednesday evening, and they're usually ready early Thursday morning. That's U.S. Pacific time. Hope you guys had a great time, enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.